So, what if I told you that the secret to finally shutting off your racing mind and getting that deep, restorative sleep you're dreaming of isn't in a pill or a tea, but it might just be hiding in your kitchen cabinet? Okay, let's get into this, because tonight we're talking about a really surprising trick that involves your feet, and it might just change the way you sleep for good.
You know the feeling. We have all been there. You are physically exhausted. You can barely keep your eyes open all day. But the second your head hits that pillow, boom, your brain just comes alive. It's that classic tired but wired feeling, where every little worry, every to-do list item, every random thought from 10 years ago starts screaming for your attention. And it is so frustrating, right? Your body is literally begging for rest, but your mind just refuses to get the memo. So what is actually going on here? Why is that off switch so impossible to find sometimes?
Well, to figure that out, we've got to first dig into this whole paradox. It really feels like your mind and your body are in a battle. And let's be honest, most nights, your mind is winning. So what do? You do what we all do. You try the chamomile tea, you pop a melatonin, you get the blackout curtains, you turn on the white noise machine, you make your room as dark and quiet as a cave. And for a lot of us, none of it really works. And that's because these solutions, well, they might be targeting the wrong problem entirely.
And this is where the story takes a really fascinating turn. The root cause of your sleepless night might not be in your stressed out brain at all. It might actually be in your feet.
Look, we're always told to blame the usual suspects, right? Too much stress, that late afternoon coffee, scrolling on our phones. And yeah, those things don't help. But the source material we're looking at points to a hidden culprit. It suggests our nervous system is on high alert simply because our feet are, get this, bored.
Think about it for a second. The soles of your feet are one of the most neurologically packed parts of your entire body. They are just loaded with super sensitive nerve endings, and their job is to constantly send information about pressure, texture, temperature straight up to your brain. It's a fundamental way your body knows where it is and knows that it's safe. But here's the problem. Our modern lives create this massive issue. We spend all day with our feet stuffed into shoes, walking on perfectly flat, unchanging surfaces. So that lack of varied sensory input leads to what the source calls sensory starvation. Your brain isn't getting the rich signals it needs, so your nervous system just stays stuck in this low-level, vigilant, something's not quite right stress state. So how do we fix this? How do we give our brain the interesting input it's so desperately craving? Well, this brings us to the core idea of this whole explainer, a simple technique called the salt trigger. And the concept is just brilliantly simple. The salt trigger isn't a supplement or a drug. It's a physical, mechanical nudge. That's all it is. It's designed to jolt your nervous system out of that anxious fight or flight mode and flip it over into the calm, rest and recovery state you need for sleep. And you know what the best part is? It's unbelievably fast. We are not talking about some 30-day program here. We are talking about a full biological reset you can do in about 1 minute. Okay, so let's walk through exactly how you do this. First, you take a little bit of salt. Regular table salt is totally fine to start with, and just sprinkle it inside a pair of socks. Then, you put the socks on. Now, this next part is absolutely crucial. You have to stand up. Just stand there and gently shift your weight from side to side, back and forth for about a minute. Then, that's it. Sit down, close your eyes, and just notice what you feel. Just 60 seconds. That is all it takes. And why? Because that short amount of time is just enough to create a powerful new signal that completely interrupts that mental worry loop that's keeping you awake. You're giving your brain a brand new, much more powerful sensation to focus on. So what's actually happening on a neurological level here? Well, as you stand, those thousands of tiny, jagged salt crystals press against all those nerve endings in your feet. This creates this huge, undeniable wave of sensory information that travels right up to your brain, basically screaming, "Hey, pay attention down here for a second." And that sudden surge of input is the nudge, the trigger your body needs to shift into the parasympathetic state. This is your body's natural rest and recovery mode. It's when your heart rate starts to slow down, your breathing gets deeper, and your muscles finally get the signal that it is safe to let go of all the tension from the day. So you see, the really crucial point here is that this isn't about forcing yourself to sleep. It's about giving your body the right kind of input so that it can find its own natural off switch. And it's really important to be clear. Just like the source material says, this is not being presented as a medical cure for some illness. You should think of it more like a biological reset button. You're using a simple physical stimulus to change your body's state in real time.
Now, for those of you who want to take this idea even further, the source does suggest a few little upgrades. You could try using magnesium flakes or some coarse sea salts to get a different texture. You could also pair it with some special recovery socks or even use it right before something like a grounding mat to really amplify that calming effect.
So the next time you find yourself staring up at the ceiling, feeling tired but wired, maybe the answer isn't to try and quiet your mind. Maybe the answer is to give it something new and more interesting to listen to. Because it seems the key to a quiet mind might just be found by waking up your feet.